Okay, hi everyone. If you can hear me and the video and audio are clear, so just say hi in the chat. So today we have with us Dr. Raveendra Chittoor, dearly called as Dr. Ravee. He is the Dean of the Jio Institute and he is a postgraduate in management from IIM Ahmedabad and did his doctorate from IIM Calcutta. Dr. Ravee has held senior management positions in organizations such as IBM, CRISIL, and Mumbai-based Rajan Raheja Group. Prior to joining Jio Institute, Dr. Ravi has been a professor of strategy and international business and director of PhD program at Kustavan School of Business, Canada. His academic career includes tenures at ISB and IIM Calcutta. Today, Dr. Ravi is with us to discuss the possibilities beyond CAT. He'll be using his vast experience as a faculty and in industry to guide students in their career. He'll be discussing the various opportunities available to students beyond CAT, and he'll also be discussing various programs at the Geo Institute that will be helpful for the students. A warm welcome to you, sir, and you can start the evening.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to meet all of you. Thank you for that nice introduction. Yeah, it is truly a pleasure to meet all of you and talk about, as the slide indicates, opportunities beyond CAT. This is not to, hint that you will not crack CAT. I'm sure all of you will do very well in CAT. So this whole presentation is about trying to give you a bigger picture about the opportunities out there, and why I probably am equipped to talk to you, because I have some gray hair. What I mean is that I have seen the world. I have taught in MBA institutions. I am also right now heading an institute where we are trying to offer different types of programs. I have taught internationally, so I know what kind of developments are taking place in higher education there. So this is primarily to give you that broad picture in terms of education, and also in terms of what kind of careers, or in fact I would like to call it callings, that you people should try and uh, aim, or you should pursue, right? So that's the overall goal for this session. So, without any further ado, let me start. And also, I understand that you can ask questions anytime. I may not be able to see your questions, but I think I will be prompted when there is a question, and I'll be very happy to take questions as we go along. So, first, what kind of factors that you should think about, right? So, uh, I mean, our Indian philosophy sometimes says that we have an afterlife too, or we have, we can reincarnate. But, there is no, I don't want to go by such metaphysical theories, but we know for sure that we have one life, right? So it makes sense to plan that life well, and get the maximum out of that life in terms of whatever work that we undertake, whatever careers that we want to pursue. So that's the overall purpose, right, of leading a meaningful life. So the first, therefore, important factor is not to look at immediate goals, but look at a slightly longer term perspective. So it is important to therefore think long term, think strategic, when you are looking at something like a career or a calling that you want to pursue in your life. So that's the first thing that I want to highlight. And second, a lot of us want to, when we say cat, you're all interested broadly in business, or at least management. But you need to also understand that that's a very broad thing. So a manager can also manage an educational institution, like what we are trying to do here. A manager or management also is about sports management. Management is also about hospital management, right? So there can be a number of areas, or it can be a not for profit. You may probably know that one of the largest foundations that we have is Azim Premji Foundation. Who is managing Azim Premji Foundation? A lot of MBAs, or a lot of people with management experience or management education. So you need to therefore look at the area or a sector or an industry. That's one thing that you need to see. The other thing is function. So function means you could look at a particular area in an organization. Some of you may be engineers and you may want to look at operations as a function to start with, or you may be having a lot of skills to be a good marketing person, or you may want to look at something like strategy, etc., etc., right? So an organization has HR, so at least many of you would have dealt with the HR function in an organization. So within an industry or within a sector, there are these multiple functions that you can look at. And why this is again important? Because you may like to be in a particular. I will keep giving you some personal examples so that you can identify with what I'm trying to say. So I have a very close, cousin. We actually grew up together. Only 1 year separates between us. So this person is the president of a particular company in marketing, and he has spent 30 years, 25 years at least in the marketing function, and he is really cut out for that role. He really likes to meet people. He likes to spend a lot of time out in the open, talking to different organizations and so on. And he's very very happy when he's among people. Um, so he really loves a role in marketing. You take me for example. So I mean, of course I can be good in communication and things like that, but my first job in IBM was a selling job, and I really disliked that job. I made a mess out of it, and then I decided that sales is not my calling or my cup of tea. So I moved to finance, and I did pretty well in finance because it aligned with my skills, my personality, and so on. So again, looking at a function based on whatever that you think are comfortable is another way of looking at it. Finally, passion or love, right? So you need to obviously love what you're doing, and typically that happens when your interests, your personality match with whatever work that you take up. Then, or you may have an interest in a particular area because of some personal circumstances. You may really want to make a difference in that field, and that is where passion stems from. So you need to therefore look at combining these three ways when you are looking at something like career. So now you see what we are talking about is not just a something as narrow as a exam like common admission test, but it is much more than that. It is, these are all means to an end, not ends by themselves, right? So that's how I would urge you today to look at what you want to do. That's what I meant when I said opportunities beyond cat. Cat itself may take you there, or there may be many other things that you could do which probably are not needed, which can be done without cat. Skills and competencies. So this is another thing. Any of these industries or any of these functions will require a lot of skills. Skills, uh, to give an example, critical thinking skills, analytical skills, interpersonal, skills. That means ability to get along with people, get work done by people, be a team player, and so on. And communication skills, again, that play a very important role in those. Analytical skills. So sometimes some jobs require high analytical and technical skills. So these are all some examples of skills. Competencies, are somewhat like skills, but they also include things like attitude, values, and so on. And that's what when people say never give up attitude, that person really is very persistent in getting what he or she wants to get done. So these are all these combination of skills and competencies are what again defines what kind of area that you want to look at. And by the way, these skills and competencies are lifelong pursuits. They are not you cannot develop communication skills overnight. And even if you are not very good at communication skills, that's not the end of story, because these can be learned over a period of time, including analytical skills. There are ways in which you can even pick up analytical skills over a period of time. So many of these require lifelong learning. So keep these at the back of your mind. These are the kind of things you should be thinking about when I say long term perspective or strategic perspective, right? So one of the ways in which one can look at it, it may sound a little odd to you, is to imagine yourself to be, say, 50 or whatever you think is a mature stage in your career, and then work backwards. So, for example, there are some jobs like investment banking jobs which are extremely, stressful. Of course, a lot of people enjoy it. I'm not talking about, a good job versus bad job or anything like that. But then sometimes, some jobs may be such that you may not really be able to even last in a career for 50 years. And that's perfectly okay if you make many millions and you want to retire. But if you want to really keep working and look at work as part of your life, then that's something that you need to think about. So imagine that okay, you're working backwards from age 50 or 60 or whatever you think is a mature kind of stage in your life, and then say, okay, what do I want to be when I am 50? Do I want to be a CEO? Do I want to be a professor? Do I want to be a sports manager, or manage something like Mumbai Indians? Things like that. Depending on your interest, look at a stage and then work backwards. And also you need to look at your context. A lot of things are determined based on the ecosystem that you exist in. So you need to look at so that way we are very fortunate, because India is one of the probably fastest growing economy in the world, and there are opportunities galore in India. In fact, today people say that there are more opportunities in India than many developed countries. So you need to again look at all these factors. I have a lot of friends from who were living in USA, Canada, etc., who are coming back to participate in this massive growth that India offers today. So you need to again look at that macro picture and then see where probably you need to position yourself. They say right time, I mean, being in the right place at the right time. That's the kind of point that is being implied here. And when you want to therefore look at the big picture, long term picture, you need to therefore forget or not really give a lot of importance to short term kind of goals, because sometimes the short term you may gain, but in the long term you may lose, and that's not always a wise thing to do. So you therefore need to look at the long term picture and then plan accordingly. And as I was saying, basically put yourself in the right place at the right time. Now, what kind of to give some examples, what kind of industries, functions, passion that I was talking about. So industry could be FMCG, that stands for fast moving consumer goods. Companies like Hindustan Unilever, Nestle, Pepsi, and so on fall into this category. And these roles also have some kind of a functional element to it. They tend to be more in marketing and sales. Of course, there will be manufacturing too, but when you look at the core competency of the organization, it would be more in marketing and sales. So, like that, you look at different industries: retail, oil and gas, technology, media, and so on and so forth. So, that's some examples of industry for you. Finance, particularly today, fintech, because a lot of finance innovations are happening in the technological domain. Then functions, the examples of functions I earlier hinted at, finance, marketing, sales, uh, information technology, operations, and so on. So passion, this has something to do with your interest, something to do also with the industry or sector, like fashion, travel, environment. So a lot of people today are very passionate about sustainability and contributing to social and environmental goals. So that may be your passion, and there are a lot of opportunities in that domain today. So these are some things that you need to look at. So the all this actually will point out that money is definitely going to play a lot of importance, but that's not the only thing that you would like to consider, because then you may make money, but you may be very unhappy because you are in the wrong industry, you may be in the wrong function, you may not be having any passion for the kind of work that you do, and that's going to sap your energies. You will dread going to work after some time, and it's not sustainable at all in the long run. Once again, let me give an example from my personal life. When I finished my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, you know that in all these business schools, campus placement is divided into day one, day two, day three, and so on. The earlier you get placed, the more I mean the supposedly smarter you are, and so there is a lot of peer pressure on getting the day one job, or today even day zero uh, job. So I at my time, day zero was not there, day one, and I got a day one job that was IBM, and on paper it was a great job at that time. In fact, IBM had a joint venture with Tata's, so it was called Tata IBM, or TISL. And so, there is a great Indian name, Tata, there is a great international name, IBM. What more do you want? In fact, my folks thought that when I got that job, that I will probably retire in that job. You know how long I lasted? Exactly 8 months. So, because it was a selling job, and they, of course, called it solution provider or some very big name they gave, and ultimately I discovered that it is nothing but a selling job, selling IBM computers, and I hated it. So, I, of course, tried to make something out of it, but within 8 months, I decided, no, this is not what I'm going to do. So I just quit unceremoniously one fine day, and then looked for another job. And this time I really thought about all these things that I'm trying to tell you now. What kind of industry, what kind of function, what kind of passion that I want to have. And I decided that it is in the finance industry. So I looked for a job in the finance industry. Within a couple of days, in fact, I got a job, and after that, most of my life I spent there until the academic bug bit me, and I went for a PhD, and then became a professor. So I, of course, maybe made more money in one or the other, but I know for sure that it wouldn't have lasted, right? What will really last is when you combine your passion with the kind of things that I'm describing to you. So what I am describing you has already been put forward in a concept called ikigai. This has origins in Japan, and that Japan is one of the countries where the life expectancy is very, very high, and one of the sources for that, people argue, is that a lot of Japanese chase an ikigai, and I'll explain to you what that is. In fact, there is a very good book called Ikigai. If you haven't read it, I strongly recommend that you buy that and read it. So, what Ikigai tells you is that you need to look at four things. One, what you love doing. Two, what the world needs, that there is a need for it. So for example, you may love watching Netflix, but then yeah, if a company is like Netflix, they may want that, but in general, you know uh, you're not really contributing anything to the world. What you can be paid for is the third factor. So whatever that you do as work, obviously you want to get paid for it, otherwise how will you make a living? And lastly, what you are good at. So if you are not good at something, even if you get the world values it and you probably will get paid for it, you will again not last long because you will not really do well. And so if you are able to hit the sweet spot which combines what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you are good at, that's when it can be not just a career but a calling. Calling, how they define calling? Calling is something that you will do even if you're not paid for it. Of course you want to be paid for it, but you love doing that so much that you are happy. There are some movie stars who say that I really wanted to act. So for my first movie I said that if you just give me a role, that's good enough, because just that opportunity to live my passion, to actually implement what I always wanted to do, that itself was good enough. And some people will even say that to do my job, I'm willing to even pay for it as long as people allow me to do my job. That is an indication of your ikigai. So then nobody has to wake you up in the morning. You will just not only wake up, you will run to do your work. Of course it is ideal, it doesn't really happen in the case of so many people, and particularly in India where we somehow have to earn our livelihood. But if you can manage it, that's the best thing that you can aim to do in life. So this is broadly the key thing that I wanted to talk about. I'll give you a few more examples of industries and functions. So I gave you an indicative list at that time, but this is much more indicative or much more detailed. So whenever you join a particular industry, you have all these choices like healthcare, advertising, social sector, consulting, entrepreneurship. That is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, and self-employed, fashion industry, automobile industry, FMCG, and so on. Again, functions can be not only the traditional functions like sales and marketing. Today, it can be analytics, it can be communications, supply chain, and so on and so forth. So I one thing that I want to highlight, particularly for your generation, is that unlike our generation, you will be employed. There are so many employment opportunities if you are in a country like India today, that it's never a concern to just earn a livelihood. You may think otherwise today, but again, with experience, I'm telling you that is the case. And particularly, what is happening is there is rapid change. So World Economic Forum estimates that reskilling itself will be needed so much that it will add nearly 11.5 trillion dollars to global GDP. So a lot of people who are doing their jobs today, they are not good enough for that. They need to reskill themselves or upskill themselves. So that's why there are organizations like Upgrad, etc., which are so popular, because even after doing an MBA, you may want to learn something about artificial intelligence because that's become part of life. or you may want to learn something about digital marketing tools, because marketing is now being done in a very different way. So all this upskilling or reskilling is very, very necessary. And recognizing this, the education landscape itself is changing. So you might not have been familiar with the new education policy that we have, but this really underlines the importance of it and actually provides for it. You know what, the education policy, of course, it's being implemented by a lot of universities slowly, but it allows for people to come back to school and take short programs. It allows people to come back to school and participate in hybrid programs or online programs, digital delivery programs, so that they can pick up those tools that are necessary. And in fact, to the extent that even to do a degree, they are going to break it up into what is known as micro credentials. That is, you can study for 1 year and go and work for 1 year, earn some money, and use that money to pay the tuition for the next 1 year of education. And like that, you have a lot of flexibility. You can actually finish the degree instead of in 4 years, probably in 6 years. In between, you can pick up some experience. All this is now possible, and all kinds of upskilling is possible. And again, I'm not trying to portray something which is in the future. This is all happening today. Internationally, in fact, there are lots of flexibilities that universities have introduced, and governments have forced the universities to introduce, to allow for this massive change that's happening in the world, in terms of skills needed, competencies needed, professionals, attributes needed, and so on and so forth. So the kind of upskilling that is needed in terms of skills, definitely digital skills. The whole world is digital today. Even to pay our vegetable vendor, we are using apps and a lot of digital tools. So in this, there are some people who may not be technologically adaptive. They need to learn, they need to upgrade their digital skills. Soft skills, so earlier, soft skills and all were never given any prominence. But today, to survive in a job, in many jobs which are very, very stressful, and in jobs that require very important problem solving skills, very high levels of interpersonal skills, teamwork, etc., these soft skills are very, very important. And people who don't need them, they will not survive unless they upskill. So these are the skills that are getting offered, and people are upskilling in these areas. There is even words used like meta skills. These are cognitive skills, like critical thinking, so strategic decision making. So there can be very, like, to give an example, should a company acquire another company, or should I, so suppose a company wants to offer a new product, should it acquire another company offering that product already in the market, or should it start developing that product itself and offer it? Now that's a strategic decision. How do you make that decision? So you require high levels of cognitive thinking for doing that. A lot of creativity related skills. You might have probably heard of something called design thinking. So this again looks at what are known as hard problems, or problems that are not easy to solve, multidisciplinary kind of problems. So their design thinking is very useful. So these are all typically considered as meta skills. And of course, technical skills. There are number of technical skills that are needed. So these are some skills that that every job requires. And therefore, what is happening is there are specialized masters or specialized programs that are being offered. These can be short term programs, these can be 1 year programs, 2 year programs, and so on and so forth. So, one area or couple of areas where, in fact, our institute plays an important role is, one is artificial intelligence and data science. And here, there are number of different types of roles that one can do in an organization, like data scientist, data analyst, artificial intelligence and machine learning engineer, analytics. It can be business analytics, marketing analytics, manager, content analyst, risk consultant. So these are all various roles that come under this domain. Similarly, digital media and marketing. So marketing, of course, is a critical area in management. But then, given the high level of digital focus in marketing today and the importance of mastering digital media, these two are getting combined, and a lot of skills are needed in handling digital media and digital tools. So therefore, again, there are the traditional marketing manager roles. There is this growth manager, digital marketing specialist, campaign designer, corporate communications, and so on and so forth. So these are all new roles in marketing today. And in line with these new roles, there are new age jobs. So I listed some of them. There may be some which are repeated here, but again, these are indicative of various types of roles that or new age jobs that are being offered. We also have a program that we started this year in sports management. And very well, most of you, I'm sure, would be watching cricket, and you can see the explosion in the sports landscape in India in the last 10 to 20 years. Lot of traditional sports which were languishing, like kabaddi and so on, kho, kabaddi, all these now got a boost thanks to management being applied there, and league formation around these sports. And all how is all that is happening? Because we are now applying management skills to this arena. And cricket, of course, is extremely popular. You can see that India gained so much of prominence because we were able to tap the business potential of cricket through IPL and various other innovations that we did in the cricket arena. And each of the IPL teams today are huge organizations by themselves. So all these organizations will require, sports analysts, lot of information technology, event management, player management, sports based consulting, and so on and so forth. So what this actually is implying is that the traditional MBA program. So now I'm coming back to opportunities beyond CAT. Why am I giving all this background? Because CAT typically leads you to an MBA program, right? Or sometimes there can be, depending on the area, if you're an engineer or if you're from science background, etc., you have masters programs in those, right? Masters in say physics, or masters in computer engineering, and so on and so forth. So these are the typical type of masters programs that existed. So, we can call it a third axis. So this is two-dimensional axis. Imagine there is a three-dimensional space and there is a third axis. And the third axis, we can call it, say, Z axis, like X and Y, is what really is, emerging around the world. And so if you compare typical programs, so you have 2 year MBA programs offered by most IIMs. And then about 20 years back, ISB came with a 1 year MBA program. And of course, IIMs also offered their own 1 year MBA programs. It's nothing but a typical MBA program shortened into 1 year, and it had in order to ensure that they are still picking up whatever is needed. These programs are only offered to people with work experience. So that's how these programs started. Now, what is emerging is what is known as 1 year but specialized masters, sometimes called professional masters. And what is the meaning of specialized masters? These are even more specialized. So for example, when someone does a MBA program, they do what is known as core courses in the first half of the program. If it is a 2 year MBA, 1 year they will do core courses. If it is a 1 year program, first 6 months they will do core courses, and in the second half of the program they'll do electives. And electives are in the areas of like marketing or operations or finance and so on and so forth. And then they will opt for a particular job in that. So if I'm specializing in finance, at the end of my MBA program, I will look for a finance job. If I'm specializing in marketing, I look for a marketing job, because everybody has to enter in a particular industry, in a particular function, because you're typically going to enter at the lower rank. And then over a period of time, you may even become the CEO of the company or the chairman of the organization and so on. But this is where you enter. So if that is the case, then if people are already having some work experience, or at least know about various functions and have analyzed themselves to understand their strengths and weaknesses, which is what I was talking about in the earlier part of my presentation, then they already know what kind of area that they want to enter. Like they may say, I don't want to be in operations, I want to be in marketing, or I want to be in data, I want to be a data scientist. That's how I want to be in information technology. That's where I want to make an entry. Or I want to be a corporate finance person, or a fintech person, or a investment banker, or a equity analyst. So that's my interest, right? So then you can there then opt for a specialized masters. And some of the examples that I gave are like artificial intelligence and data science are an example of a specialized masters. Now, will they only pick up artificial intelligence and no management? No. So again, these programs are designed in such a way that they will pick up the core skills or core knowledge in management, whether it is strategy or something like marketing, even if you want to be a data scientist, or some basic levels of economics, statistics and so on. So all those foundational level inputs will be given, and then you straight away do specialization in a particular area, so that you are much more job ready, career ready, to don the role of a specialist, either as a digital marketing person, or as a data scientist, or as a sports management specialist and so on. So that is what is happening. In fact, this is happening in many universities internationally, and in India, slowly it is now evolving. And Jio Institute that we are associated with is, I could say, one of the pioneers for doing this. And I will give you some examples of the programs. So we have right now three such programs. One in, and these are all international, international in the sense that all the teaching faculty, most of the teaching faculty come from around the world, from leading international universities. So they are international right at the outset, and they are 1 year fully residential master's programs. So like ISB's 1 year MBA program, you stay in the campus. You 1 year is always a very rigorous kind of program, so you need to be fully engaged in studies and in hands-on exercises. We even have an internship. So that's the nature of the 1 year professional master's programs. So we have right now three: one in artificial intelligence and data science, another in digital media and marketing communications, and the third in sports management. And in the future, we are contemplating offering more such programs in fintech, and also in journalism and mass communication. And of course, Jio Institute is right now in the beginning stages. We have a 15-year vision, and over a period of time, we aspire to emerge as a full-fledged university with our own engineering school, our own medical school, our own school of arts and humanities, of course, school of management, and so on and so forth. So this is broadly what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to give you the big picture about where you should be thinking about in terms of a calling, not even a career. And doing, you need to definitely do a lot of reflection and introspection. Understand who are you, understand what are your strengths and weaknesses, and then align your strengths and weaknesses to the kind of career that you want to get into. And if you know that this is what you want to do, then some of these specialized masters could be a worthwhile thing for you to consider, and you should be thinking in that direction. So, if you need more information, we'll be happy to give you. So, these give you some contact details. These are our phone numbers, WhatsApp number, and the email. Uh, you know, uh, if you want to get in touch with us, so I have my entire admissions team, with me. Headed by Hima, Rakesh, Tarun, Mayuri, etc. So we'll be very happy to take any questions that you may have. Thank you. Okay. So, Srikanth, first of all, the current generation is very smart. They are not as, I would even use the word dumb as I was at that point in time. I should have done all that, even before the MBA program, or at least during the MBA program, because it's very elementary, very basic, that you need to look at. So the reason today a lot of people are doing that, because anyway they are being offered electives. So electives, why do you want to take electives in marketing? Why not in finance? So people are looking at. In my time, see, I did my MBA more than 25 years back. In my time, that concept of specialization, electives, etc., was not there. So that's the reason why I did not think about those things. Today's generation is way ahead. In fact, I was talking to a girl the other day who's also preparing for CAT. And, so she already worked, she's a chartered accountant, and she's working in an organization in the accounting division. And she said that, after experiencing accounting for 1 year, this is not what she wants to do. And she wants to, be in strategy. So she was looking at, which kind of schools will offer mass specialized programs in strategy or consulting. So like that, a lot of people are doing that today. And if they are not doing it, Srikant, my submission through this presentation is to start thinking in those lines, right? Think about, not just the next 1 year picture, but longer term, at least 5 years, if not longer. Okay, Hima, would you like to take that?
Sure. There are several internships that have been provided for various sports management students, and they cover various roles like event management as well as sports analyst. And Reliance has its own RISE program. They've been interning there as well as with Sports Kida and companies like that, where they've gone into internships. It's a 7 week internship that they're doing, all of them.
So there is a lot of interest in sports management program that we have, because not there are if, a few programs but not too many in India, and also given our brand strength, we are able to connect with a lot of sports organizations which are interested in picking up managers. So in fact, we started with a very small batch. We want to increase the batch size next year, but there are more opportunities that are chasing them than the number of students that we have. Yeah. So we prefer, so the way we word it is that work experience is preferred, and work experience in the area of whatever that area is, in that aligned to that area. Having said that, particularly for sports, uh, there are people who may not have traditional work experience. So for example, someone might have been training to be for example, a cricket player, right? And that person might have played up to, say, Ranji level, or even forget about Ranji, even state level. And then after that, probably because of age or various reasons, that is the maximum that that person can go. But that person still has a lot to contribute in sports management, right? So that is also experience. Even if they don't have, but if they want to contribute to sports through marketing or through analytics, which do not require direct experience in sports, still that is related kind of experience. So to put it in a nutshell, yes, some experience if they have in that area of interest, then it is always preferred, but it need not be marketing. For example, if they have even aptitude for marketing and they can demonstrate that through some activities that they have done, still the interview panelists would look at that positively.
If I can add to what Dean Chittoor has said, Shrikant, it goes back to his first slides where you mix, role, function, industry, and passion. So you may be a BSc physics, but you have been very active on the internet trying to build your own, Twitter group, or you're passionate about yoga. So you have this digital media audience who's following you. If you have these followers, we actually have quite a few applicants who are there who haven't done work experience per se in a 9 to 5 job, but have a lot of followers. And we find that during COVID time, people were very very active digitally and taking up their hobbies and sports as well as passions in a very keen way. So if you can illustrate these things that you've followed through your passion and you've built these groups and you were active digitally or passionate about sports and did this, you don't necessarily have to play a sport or do a job in the sport, but your analytics and once you interview will know the depth of knowledge you have about that subject. If you can display that, that's good enough also.
That is fantastic. So one more question is like, what is the application procedure for the courses, and do the candidates have to apply separately for each of the program, or what is the procedure for the
Please
application?
go to the website. The application is online. It's a completely online procedure. You can apply to any number of programs. The application fee is 2,500. You can apply with your CAT, GATE, GMAT, GRE scores, or you can appear for the Geo entrance test, which we have. The reason is we have three diverse programs, so judging their competencies on one level may not be fair. So we have, once the application is completed, you can appear for the Geo entrance test, and based on which you will be assessed for an interview, shortlisted for an interview, and then finally assessed for an admit to the program.
So you have mentioned multiple exams, right? Like GATE, GMAT, CAT, and GI, I think. So
Yes.
are all these exams accepted for all the programs, or is there any specific exam for any specific program?
All these programs are accepted for all programs. The reason we have GATE and GRE is for artificial intelligence and data sciences. A lot of engineers prefer those exams. And Rakesh can add value here. Anything else you want to add, Rakesh?
Yeah, so Shrikant, to your question, if candidates want to apply for multiple programs, yes, they have to fill separate forms because of the statement of purpose and essays related to every program. And since Himam mentioned that they might have to, appear for different tests also. However, there is no separate fee for multiple programs. So the application fee, which is 2,500, with one 2,500, candidates can apply for multiple programs.
That's good. So there is a question on Binoy is asking, do aspirants who have applied in round one get an advantage over aspirants who are applying in round two?
Yes, in the sense that round one offers are made and waitlists are decided. So the number of seats available for round two are lower, but the redeeming factor is the applications usually, the applicants in round two are also lesser. You can view
So
it whichever way you want, but that's the way it is.
yeah,
Correct. So what ma'am is saying is basically a number of seats are more, which are everything is open in round one, but still it goes to the similar level of competition when it comes to how much the pool is. So
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's actually it fits. It is similar almost in terms of competition.
Yeah.
okay. So there is a follow-up question to this, like what is the batch size of each program? So I think this one will answer the importance for round one better.
The batch size for round one, we like to call it class, Shrikant, is 60 for artificial intelligence and data science, 60 for digital media and marketing communications, and 30 for sports management.
So my question is to Dr. Raveendra. So you as a dean, right? So how difficult was it setting up a varied discipline institute in India, right? So if we see at the current MBA institute, so they don't have like these programs. So how difficult is it setting up a program like this and forming an institute?
Yeah. So, if I can be honest with you, so the typical, I've worked in organizations like IIM Calcutta, ISB, etc. So in my opinion, the typical MBA market in India is overcrowded because for it's a general management kind of MBA, and it prepares you for everything, but it also prepares you for nothing, in the sense nothing specific, right? So they have to again pick up skills in marketing or in whichever area that they want to specialize in. So I'm happy that I am able to offer these specialized masters, specialized professional masters, than a plain vanilla MBA program. Because I think it's much more value adding to the industry, much more value adding to the students.
So what will be the typical career path for a student graduating from each of these programs? Let's say artificial intelligence, DMMC, and sports management. What can they look forward to after these courses?
Yeah. So obviously they will start their career in that line, right? So if someone is looking at sports management, if they are looking at say sports analytics or sports operations, they'll start there. So that's what happens with any management program, right? You start in a particular function in a particular industry, which is what I pointed out in this slide. So the same thing happens. However, because they have been given the inputs for general management, even in this program, then they can grow to any level. So you can start as a marketing person, but over a period of time, you can grow, you can become general manager marketing or president marketing, and then you can become a CEO. Similarly, in sports, you may start with sports operations, but then you can become general manager in a particular thing, and ultimately you can also become a CEO. So it is typical to any other management masters, I would say. You start at a particular function in a particular industry, but then you can grow to any level. The sky is the limit.
For example, Shrikant, if you look at sports, you can't take it as a hobby or as a passion. You are in the business of sports here. So, in the particular program, if you go to the website and look at the specific subjects that are being taught, you will see the legal aspects of sports. You'll see the analytical aspects of sports. You'll see the business of sports and how you commercialize a player, how advertising and marketing works, what the contracts are like. It's an overall view of the sports field as such. So those are the type of roles and career path that you're going to get into.
So one more question is like from the students who have applied in round one. So when will the calls for round one be out? As in, when will the results for round one be out?
Rakesh?
Yes, sir, I'll take that. So round one students, we have started just calling few days back because there are within the system there are selection committees which work separately on test and the quality of application profile, and as a combination of both we create list for interviews. So the process has just started. Just be patient for this week. I hope that by end of this week everyone might have got a call.
It is a rolling process, Shrikant, and as we are shortlisting, we don't want to delay it. We are sending out the interview calls, but that doesn't mean that's the end of the interview calls. It'll keep going on.
Okay, understand. So there is a question by Henry John. So he is asking when will the statistics for placement stats be out for class 24?
Class of 2020, sorry, Ravi, take
Class
it.
of 24, yeah.
Yeah, I think so the broad. So first of all, that these will be audited, and they are almost the audit is done. So we will release the formal thing, but we can based on our prior numbers, we can give you the indicative numbers. First of all the students are placed. There is 100% placement. Uh, I wouldn't, I mean, Rakesh, if you want to give some indicative means and maximums, I think we could still do that. Yeah.
Sure. So all these details are available on our website. Okay, students can even go and check. However, I'll share the numbers. So the lowest salary offered to student of either of the programs was 13 lakhs. Why I started with lowest is because that is also a very important number to understand. Then the highest was 24 for both the programs. The average for the digital media marketing communication is 17.5, and the average for artificial intelligence and data science program is 19.3. So a good number of students were placed at the highest package in both the programs, because of which, the average is very good. And these are all programs along with the roles, which were also shared in the presentation. They are all available on the website, even the recruiters also, all details.
Okay. So
The
while we are
class
discussing,
of 24
okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry, the class of 24 Shrikant placements will take place in the first week of February after the internships are over.
Okay.
So
Okay.
We
So
haven't
this
started
for
on
class of 23.
it. Yes.
Okay. So while we are discussing placements, right? So it is we can discuss the fees also, so that students can calculate the what they call as ROI of the program.
Mm.
So I have another suggestion for all the students, who are considering this placement and all these statistics. See, all these statistics are important to understand while making decision. But there's a video released by one of our students by the name Harvinder on placement process. That's a very important video, and the point that he wants to make from that, in terms of what efforts are also required to achieve best out of a program. So I would advise that every student who's serious for Jio Institute should also see that program, because along with the placement numbers, he also talks about what all in terms of facilitation or support which is provided by the Office of Career Services at Jio Institute. So placement at the end is only one thing which we see, but it's a process which goes around the entire year, supporting students through different ways, different modules related to communication or critical thinking or even technical modules. So that video is very important for, I think, all students. They should refer to it.
So, Dr. Ravin, if you have to leave, right? So maybe you can give any parting remarks to the students who are looking to apply for Geo Institute, and any advice to the students in general who are preparing for MBA.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. No, first of all, thank you for having me and having us. It's truly a pleasure to talk to all of you. And, hopefully what we shared with you makes sense and you can keep that in mind while making career choices. I'm not going to specifically, I truly am not here to sell Geo Institute. As you know that, our, we are not going to, fill our classes with many sections and things like that. So we are going to be selective, and but I really want you to choose your not just careers but callings very carefully, and that will help you have a great career and a great life. That's the primary interest with which we wanted to offer this presentation to you. Yeah, and with that, I'm 100% sure that your generation will have much better careers and job opportunities than our generation. Go and seize them. That's what I would say. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I'll take some more questions from the students, and
Sure.
these are mainly about the admissions and placements, right?
Great. Rakesh and I can answer both those.
Correct, correct.
Mm.
So Harshal is asking, he got a call from Geo Institute for AI course, but he hasn't got any mail. So can he expect the mail, and when can the process start for him?
I think if he has got a call and a date is communicated to him, then already that's a call. I think he should not
Okay.
wait for anything. He should start making his arrangements, in terms of logistics. When the mail comes, a lot of things which finalizes all panels, everything, then the communication when written will also go. But once a call has gone, it means that that's a final thing.
Okay. So proceed with the call, and like they can maybe reach out to the Geo Institute if you want any further
Correct,
details
correct.
regarding the process, right? So there is one question. He's saying, I'm BSc chemistry. Can I apply to data science and artificial intelligence?
Um, Artificial intelligence and data sciences program needs an engineering degree, Shrikant,
Okay.
and because it is a quant and data heavy thing. If you have a BSc in mathematics, statistics, those subjects, then you are allowed to apply, but you should have at least 1 year of post graduation also.
1 year of post graduation. If you are
Yeah.
BSc, then there should be a 1 year of post graduation, or
Yes.
else
And
engineering,
these
right?
subjects like statistics and mathematics, and which will cover the data science and AI genre of subjects.
Okay. So is there any requirement, undergraduation requirement for the other two courses like sports management and the DMMC?
We have quite a few engineers applying actually for digital media and sports management.
Okay.
A lot of people even changing from, already in fields of computers and, coming to the digital media.
Digital media and marketing communications.
So, is there any cutoff for, let's say, for CAT for the for each of these courses?
There is no cutoff, Shrikant. It is a holistic evaluation process where we look at a student's academics right from their 12th class, then the CAT score, then their work or projects they've done, any awards, achievements they have, plus the interview. All these five factors are looked at before deciding on an admit. And there is no cutoff score, it's a 50% plus. And like you know, AI and DS is different, and DMMC is different. I can't expect an English literature student to get a 80 percentile, okay, like an engineering or a mathematics students gets. I can't expect a football player to be, a 75 percentile, a distinction holder. It could be anything. We are open to all these. Our exams are also the geo entrance test also is designed for three different sectors, and there is no cutoff score at all.
So, one more question. So you have mentioned that CAT 2022 scores are also accepted for the exam. So candidates can right away apply for the courses
Yes,
instead of waiting for the CAT 2024-23
yes.
results, right? So
See,
you,
as ma'am was telling, since our evaluation is holistic, we are not very keen on having a particular year's exam score or something like that. For us, even if a student has scored, decently good in 2022, then for us the aptitude is good. So in the holistic evaluation process, the student gets, well settled basically.
correct, correct. So it doesn't matter he scored this year or last year. So as long
Yeah.
as, so is there any cutoff as in 2021? Can they apply with any past CAT score, or is it just CAT 2022?
See, ideally, what happens? This number depends upon the pool of applicants also, because it's a very logical thing, as ma'am was saying. So we'll see the profile along with the score. If we feel that based on our system of evaluation, if the profile combination of the profile and CAT is little lower, we may advise the student to take our own exam, which is JET, to
Okay.
improve or enhance their chances for going to the next round, basically. So that's why there is no particular number which fits in, or we can say that. But we do advise students, like for example, if someone is having a score of, let's say, GRE also XYZ, if we feel that that number is not doing well for that candidate, we may advise him or her to take the JET exam.
Got it. So, Hima ma'am has mentioned something about the a day at Jio Institute. So, if you want to explain what can students visit the Jio Institute to experience, what all the institute has to offer, it will be great for the prospective students.
Sure. Shrikant, as you know, that Jio Institute has been set up by the Reliance Foundation as a part of their CSR. Okay, among the rise and athletics things also, we have Olympic level track and gyms and everything, as well as three-star hotel facilities. And the type of AV and AR labs available for the digital media and marketing communications people, how much ever Rakesh and I speak about it, it has to be experienced. So we are open to students registering online at Visit the Campus, and we will send the logistics and everything. They can come over and spend a day on the campus. If they are locally in Bombay, they can spend a day. If not, we are happy to host them for a night on campus. They can see things. They can even sample a class, interact with the current class students to understand what is happening, interact with the faculty also, and then go back. This is something we offer. You please look at our website. There's a link which says, experience a day at Geo Campus. Please do come. It's open to all students. They can come and experience this.
Okay. So we'll be sharing the link with students also. So
Sorry, you're on mute, Shrikant.
sorry.
I can't
Yeah.
hear
So
you.
we'll be sharing the links with the students so that they can experience the Jio Institute.
Happy
So in
to.
addition, so in addition to that, is there anything else that you want to add, convey to the students who are applying for the Jio Institute?
Um, all I can say is people find me very linear in their thing, but I think a vanilla MBA is a thing of the past. Career track professional programs are a thing of the future, and 1 year gives you better ROI, and it's great. You're not wasting that 1 year opportunity cost on a 2 year program, and learning is a constant in life, and you are going to come to this program to learn certain skills and competencies in artificial intelligence or in some career track or profession you're going to. 7 years later you're going to go back to school, that is for sure. But we are saying this is the future, and Geo Institute is a first mover in this career track professional programs. Please come and experience a class, even if you do not apply or join or your mindset needs that career shift. If you're very clear you want to go into ANDS or this, these are the programs for you. They're curated, and the best of faculty is here, best of facilities are here. You have a compulsory capstone project as well as a study abroad program, and at a less than 10 lakhs it's one of the best ROIs you can get for education. Please do check it out and then take a studied decision on this. That's all I have to say, unless Rakesh has something else to add.
No, I think you have covered it also.
Yeah.
I think we have covered the questions from the students also. So we'll make this video, the live session, available on YouTube, and we'll be answering any questions that might be posted below in the comments also.
Thank you, Shrikant. Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
we'll
much.
share all the relevant links to you so that you can post it along with it.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
session.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rakesh.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Shrikant. Thank you, everyone, for